Hey there, greetings everybody. I want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this channel. So we're here tonight to do an episode of Favorites, unusual Thursday night when I don't actually think I've ever done one of these on a Thursday night. I can't recall ever doing one. However, it's late here and I'm in late, but I still wanted to get it done. I've done some of the work. I've done most of the work earlier, but finished off some of it while I was eating my supper because it's late here, and decided it's time to do this. So we did an episode of this back in January, I believe, where I talked about 5 bands that were touring for 2026, and so I've decided that one seemed to have been popular. It's still getting like regular watches every week, I think 10 to 12 regular watches. On the channel list all the time. So, and it's actually gone into my top 10 videos of all time. So I thought, you know what, people liked it enough, so there is easily enough here to do a second video. And there was at least, probably like 10 bands that I could have chose, but I chose the ones that I think are relevant and relevant to me. So this video will be titled 4 More Iconic Rock Bands Touring in 2026. Now, probably should have done this one a few months ago because some of these bands, the tours have kind of passed a little bit. But we'll do them anyways, and we'll talk about the band. So the first one out is Deep Purple, still touring, still very strong, producing some of their best material since the 80s, 70s. Just like continuing to produce really good stuff. Their last probably half a dozen albums have been really good, other than the one with all of the covers on it, which some people really like that kind of stuff. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it does have some decent stuff on it. But this album is really good. This may be the best one they put out in of those albums. It just came out this year. This is called Splat. Excellent album. So they're touring the North American tour, which will begin, I believe it's already begun, August through early September. So, kind of mid-August to early September, with special guests, Kansas. Kansas will be joining them on tour. The members of this band currently are Ian Gillan, Ian Pace, Roger Glover, Andrew McBride. Andrew McBride. Simon McBride, and who am I missing here? Don Airy, of course, yes. And then they had one episode which was near where he lived, or one concert in which Ritchie Blackmore returned to Deep Purple for that one song. Of course, it was Smoke on the Water, and they did that. It was an encore. He came on stage for that one song, and it's the first time I believe he's played with Deep Purple in over 30 years, like 33 years or something. And I guess he wanted to do it because, he's not in the best of health anymore, and they happened to be touring in the area where he lived, and so he asked him if he could come on stage. Well, he asked Ian Gillan, and Ian Gillan talked to the guys, and they were happy. They seemed happy to have him on the stage. It's been a very long time. I know a lot of people think that this might mean an album with him, and then, he's going to be touring with him. I don't think that's the case. I don't think Ritchie Blackmore is all that healthy anymore. I think he just wanted to do kind of one more off time on the stage with the band, and I seen it. It was pretty good. But yeah, just great. It's nice to see that they can kind of put the stuff aside and just, show that they still like each other despite everything, right? So yeah, just a great album. So there's like 24 dates, I believe, on their tour this year. And if you haven't been listening to Deep Purple for a long time, or you haven't listened to any of their recent stuff, you're missing out. This is a fantastic album. I like it a lot. Bought it recently, did a cover video on it. If you want to watch that, it'll be under my Look Back series. So yeah, really good. They're touring, and I guess they're going to tour probably right into next year. They haven't said, I haven't seen anything about dates for next year, but I'm sure that that's in the works. Although Ian Gillan is having problems with his eyesight and stuff, so who knows where that will go. Next up is Cheap Trick. Now, this band, very different scenario here. I've been following Purple for a while. I don't think I ever stopped following them, really, but Cheap Trick I kind of gave up when they did this album. After this album, I kind of drifted away from them. I think the music was, my interest in the music was kind of waning. It's a type of music I can listen to or not listen to, but back then I liked it a lot. Kind of moved away from it a bit over the last 30 or 40 years now, but they're still touring. This is the All Washed Up tour, basically covering their most recent studio album, which was called All Washed Up. The dates go from September the 5th through to November the 22nd. There were 7 dates. There's 7 dates in there that are going to be rescheduled. They were supposed to be headlining with Styx during those dates, I think, and something happened. I don't know what it is. They didn't. I don't think they gave any information on it. I didn't see any information on it, but they're going to reschedule those dates for maybe a later time period, I'm guessing. There will be, throughout the tour, there will be some special guests appearing with them. James Haddam will appear with them on at least one date that I see. And they were supposed to do something with ZZ Top as well, but I'm not sure if this is going to be affected by Frank Beard's death. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really follow ZZ Top too much, so I can't tell you other than I know that Frank Beard passed very recently. I don't even know if he's actually still in the band. I assume he is, or was still in the band. I assume he was, but I don't know for sure. But they were going to be doing some touring together, and now I'm not sure how that's going to affect the rest of the tour. Also, members in this band, Tom Peterson, Robin Zander, Rick Nielsen, and also, they've been talking also about maybe possibly another studio album. Maybe I'm going to suspect next year sometime, possibly. I don't know. I didn't see any indication of what it might be or whether it was going to happen. Just a couple of things that I read about them possibly considering another album. But anyways, they're touring, basically covering their previous album from 2025. So that's the second band. Third band is Jethro Tull. Jethro Tull's been kind of touring the last 3 or 4 years, I guess. This is their third album over the last 5 years. Jethro Tull's Curious Ruminant, their most recent album that came out last year. Their tour dates are from September the 11th through December 18th, and then it continues after the holidays into January, into 2027. The most recent studio album, of course, is this one from 2025. Members include Ian Anderson, David Gooder, John O'Hara, Scott Hammond, and the most recent addition to the band, Jack Clark, who has taken over on the guitars. So the passing of Dee Palmer this year as well. I'm not sure if they're going to do any kind of memorial concert for that. Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. I don't see anything about it, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. So Judas Priest, Jethro Tull continuing the tour. Ian Anderson, of course, is the only original member here in the band, but he was always the dominant member of the band throughout their entire history, and so you're not really losing much. I don't think his voice is as good as it once was, but he's still a very good flute player, and the music is still pretty damn good. So that's Jethro Tull. Next band up is Judas Priest. I got jumped the gun there a minute ago. So Judas Priest did this album back in 24. Invincible Shield. They've toured pretty much since then. This is the Faith Keepers tour. Oh, by the way, the Jethro Tull tour was the Curiosity tour. So the Faith Keepers tour, this features of course, Judas Priest. This goes from August the 28th through to September the 21st. All European dates, so everything's in Europe. Nothing here in North America, so possibly they'll do a North American one maybe next year. Who knows? But this was a great album. I'm hoping they'll do another one. That's kind of my wish, but I'm hearing that maybe they won't. You've got members Ian Hill, Glenn Tipton, Scott Travis, Rob Halford, and Richie Faulkner, with Andy Sneap doing the touring part, covering for basically Glenn Tipton, whose Parkinson's disease doesn't allow him to play a lot live. I don't know if he's playing any live now. There is rumors that I've heard rumors that he's going to give it up, and then the band is going to shut down. I hope that isn't the case, but people get old. That's what happens. Humans, we don't live forever. But this is a fantastic band. I still think they sound good on the albums. Now, I've heard stuff from people saying that they're not as good in concert, that they seem to, their vocal part hasn't been as strong in concert, and you can kind of understand that. Metal is a hard thing to sing. So that's my take on Judas Priest. The last band on the list is Men at Work. I haven't been following these guys much lately, or what they've been doing. I love this album. Difficult to get the other two. I think Cargo is difficult to get because there wasn't as many copies sold, so hard to find one out there. Recently finished up their U.S. tour. They did do a previous tour to that. Can't remember where it was, but this recent tour went from May 22nd through to August the 20th. I believe they're doing some upcoming tours in the New Year's. The touring band, also touring with the band, is Toad, the West Sprocket, and Shonen Knife. I guess these are supporting acts or acts they're touring with. Members include Colin Hay, one of the originals, San Miguel Perez, Yosmer Montio, Jimmy Branley, Rachel Mazur, and Cecilia Noel. Those are the other members of the band that are touring with them currently, and I believe that Colin Hay is the only one that's on this particular album. Anyways, that's the 5 bands I've chosen to talk about that are touring in 2026. Some of these may be touring in 2027 as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If people like it, I may try to do a couple of these every year. Do one in January and June. This one's a little bit later. Probably if I could have done it in June, might have been able to talk about a little bit more about some stuff. But, I wanted to try and give you an update on some of the bands out there that are still touring live. It's amazing how many of these bands are still out there, and many of them still doing good. I don't think there's a problem with any of the bands I just talked about, but some of the other live acts maybe might want to pack it in. But anyways, please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to make any comments about any of the bands, you can do that in the comment section. And we'll see you next Wednesday night this time. For favorites, we're going to finally get to the Eagles. And we're going to do the ranking of the Eagles' discography. It'll be a fairly short one for a band of such notoriety and such length of time in the rock business. They only have the 7 studio albums, so we'll rank those 7. I have all 7, so I've been listening to them for the last month, preparing myself. So we will see you all then. Take care, have yourself a good evening, and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.